Let's check in on the economic situation as we look at a post-COVID world and catch up again with Gigi Foster, who's an economist at the University of New South Wales. Thanks for joining us again, Gigi. We've got the budget unfolding next week, but the key thing that's happening in our economy, more important than the budget really, is the unwinding of JobKeeper. And this is going to be suddenly the economy is stripped bare, right? We're going to find out exactly how much damage has been done.
Yes, I suppose it was an economist, I think, who said at some stage, it's only when the water goes out that you see who's been swimming naked. And that water is going to be going out. Of course, the reductions in JobKeeper aren't that significant quite yet. And I do think there's going to be a big drop off a cliff in March next year when the program comes to an end, unless there is more stimulus package announced at that point. But yes, it's a huge problem, and we're seeing already massive structural readjustments in many sectors that are reading the writing on the wall, and particularly arts, entertainment, tourism, hospitality, education. My own university is planning to restructure quite significantly because of projected falls in student demand. And so these kinds of changes are not going to be easy to unwind. So we've put in motion a set of economic dynamics which are simply not going to be able to be reversed quickly. So we've set ourselves on a path for several years now.
Well, we've got to make sure that UNSW keeps you on board because you're a great voice of reason. I'm sorry we're almost out of time. We've got a tight schedule, but I want to get a quick answer from you on one other issue, and that is our government debt. We've heard a lot about it over the last decade. We seem to just don't care about it now. Governments, coalition governments. How worried should we be about the debt that this pandemic's going to leave us with?
I'm not that worried about the debt per se. What I'm worried about is when the government spends on bad programs, on bad line items that do not line up with maximizing human welfare. And that's increasingly what we've been seeing. All the efforts towards this wholesale lockdown, I think, have bought us really nothing and, in fact, have damaged us. And so that kind of expenditure is not positive. And because people think about governments just like they think of their own families, with an income and an expenditure that have to line up, unfortunately or otherwise, that sort of mentality breeds a focus on debt and leads to pressure to increase taxes and reduce expenditure on other line items in the future. And that's part of where the costs of this over-response, this panicked response to COVID is going to be felt falling.
We will see it for a long, long while to come. Thanks for joining us, Gigi.
My pleasure.
Gigi Foster there from the University of New South Wales.